discuss about the salinity of the ocean. What is meant by salinity of the ocean, right? Do you know that the ocean water is salt in taste? Why does it is salt in taste? Here, rivers, rainwater, rivulets, streams, when they flow from different areas, they cut the top surface of the places through which they are flowing. Over millions of years, this rain, rivers, streams washes away the surface in which a sodium chloride is there, and that is carried into the sea. So over millions of years, sodium chloride component is deposited into the sea and oceans, and this is a reason to say that ocean water is a salt in taste. What is a salinity? It is the dissolved salt in ocean water. Salt is there in the status of dissolved one. So the dissolved salt in the sea water or in ocean water is called salinity of the ocean. Okay, here is there. Salinity is a term used to define the total content of dissolved salts in seawater. In short, it is a dissolved salt in seawater is called salinity, and it is calculated for 1,000 grams. Salinity, when we want to know it in percentages, we have to calculate it per 1,000 parts. Percentage is calculated for 100. But here salinity of the ocean is calculated for per 1,000 parts. So the symbol is different here. See, there are two small circles in the percentage. It means it is calculated for 1,000 parts. So it is called PPT, parts per 1,000. Parts per 1,000 instead. So out of 1,000 parts of sea water, sea drops, how many parts of salt is dissolved into the sea water? That is the water PPT. So here it is a term we use. The salinity is a term we use to express how much salt is dissolved in the sea or ocean water. And coming to average salinity of the ocean is 35 parts per 1,000. For every 1,000 parts of water, 35 parts of salt we find. Such is called normal salinity, or what you call average salinity. Average salinity of the ocean is 35 ppt. All the sea water contains large amount of dissolved mineral matter. It's not only the sodium chloride, along with it, many minerals also contained in seawater. But sodium chloride, that is NaCl2, itself constitutes 77.8 parts per thousand, whereas the river water contains 2 parts per thousand salt. Right? River is a flowing water. So it is a normal salinity 35 percentage, 35 parts per thousand. So what is the average salinity? It is 35 parts per thousand. Here is a bottle shown for you. Understand? Water salinity, how it is there, it is given. Fresh water, that is ponds, lakes, rivers, streams, in which we find 0 to 5 parts per thousand. The drinking water, what we take, in which we find 1 part salt. Irrigation water for agriculture, in which we find 3 parts. In Baltic Sea, it is 8 parts. In Black Sea, it is 15 parts. Average ocean salinity, that is 35 parts per thousand. Just now I said for you. Red Sea, 40 parts per thousand. Okay. Saline water of sea water, salt lakes, there we find 30 to 50 parts per thousand. So at mangroves, swamps, and estuaries, we find 5 to 30 parts per thousand. So in that way, we find a salinity in all water bodies. In river water, it is very low, right? So that we may not identify water in salt in taste. When it comes to ocean water, we feel it is salty because of high constitute high constitute of a sodium chloride in ocean water or sea water. Let's see that what are the factors which affect the salinity of the oceans. There are 4 factors which affect salinity of ocean water. One is evaporation and precipitation. What is evaporation? It is water, liquid status of water turning to gas status, that is vapor. Water turning to water vapor is evaporation. So in ocean, we see that due to the temperature, ocean water evaporates. When water from ocean is evaporated, not only from oceans, it is from the rivers, from all water bodies. When water evaporates, the salt content in ocean water increases as the water content decreases. So evaporation will increase the salinity. Opposite to this, precipitation, nothing but it is a deposition of water on the earth's surface and in water bodies like oceans, rivers, everything. So when precipitation takes place, salt content in the ocean decreases as water content increases. So evaporation and precipitation are the factors which bring change in the salinity of ocean water. Then in coastal regions, we find a fresh water flow from the rivers. And in the polar region also, we find a water turning to freezing because of low temperatures. So, where fresh water from the rivers join the coastal regions and polar region where water turns to the freezing, then there will be change in salinity. Winds also bring change in the salinity of the ocean. When winds blow parallel to the surface of the ocean water, these blowing winds carry water from one region to another region in oceans. So when water is carried from a region where salinity is less to another region where salinity is there, when water flows from a region where salinity is not there, salt content is not there, or it is less, okay, that goes to a region where salt content is high. As this water moves there, then the salt content in that area increases, right? Sometimes fresh water also flows towards an area on ocean where salinity is there. So the fresh water joining with the sea water where ocean where salinity is there will bring down the salinity. So winds also changes the salinity of the oceans by transferring water from one area to other areas. Another is ocean currents. What is called ocean current? We'll see in the next. Ocean current here is the movement of mass of water. Means on ocean surface we see that water moves from one place to another place, that will move over a great distance. Water moves on ocean surface to a great distance from one place to another place. That is to be called ocean currents. So when ocean currents form, which bring change in salinity of the oceans, because when water on ocean surface moves from a place where salinity is high to another place where salinity is low, then the place where salinity is low, there the salinity will increase. Okay, because the movement of water, as the water moves, what is there in that water? Salt content is there. So ocean currents also bring a change in salinity of the oceans. So these are the four factors. How does they bring change in the salinity of oceans? Next, do you know there are some water bodies across the world in which we find highest salinity and some other water bodies where lowest salinity? Highest salinity we find in a Don John Pond. It is a pond in Antarctica. There, per 1,000 parts of water, we find 440 parts of salt. So it is 440 parts per thousand. That is the salt, highest salinity we find in Don John Pond. Then second highest it is at Lake Retba. This is in African country, Senegal. There it is 400 parts per thousand. Third highest salinity is in Lake Vanda. This is also in Antarctica with 350 parts per thousand. And lowest salinity we find in a Baltic Sea, that is 10 parts per thousand. Second lowest salinity we find in Hudson Bay, where it is 3 to 15, that is parts per thousand. So, what are the reasons for a low salinity in a Baltic Sea, right? There are, if you open Atlas, you will find a Baltic Sea is in Europe continent, where Norway, Finland, Sweden, Germany, Poland, these are there. So from Finland we find near about 1,000 lakes, and other countries also. Several lakes join the Baltic Sea. Rivers, rivers join the Baltic Sea. Those are thousands of rivers join the Baltic Sea, so that there fresh water is joining the Baltic Sea. Hence, there the salinity is low. Right? Find out these places in Atlas. Okay. The next, isohaline. What is isohaline? A line joining the points in oceans where the salinity is same. In different oceans, certain places will show the same degree of salinity. When those places are connected with a line, that is called isohaline. What we call it is isohalline. Understand? So it is what that the line connecting the places which show the same salinity is called isohaline. Okay. The next, we see that one more is there, isobaths. In yesterday, it there in the textbook, isobaths. Look at this. What is meant by isobaths or depth counters? It is a line joining the places which have equal height from the sea level. The places which are at equal height from the sea level are connected with a line, that is called isobaths or depth counters. Clear? Isobaths we have seen, isohalines we have seen, then isotherms also there, which is not given here. The time has come, I am saying here. Okay, that is isotherms. The places which experience, which record, the places which record same degree of temperature are called isotherms. The next, isobars. It is a line connecting the places which have equal atmospheric pressure. That means a line joining the places which record a same degree of atmospheric pressure is called isobars. Okay, these are the what some keywords you need to know. The next we see how is ocean temperature. There is no much variation. We do not find much variation on oceans regarding temperature. The temperature of the oceans will not vary much when compared to the land. So, what is the reason it is? Ocean water is connected throughout the world and it is only the water, whereas the land is covered with different things, that is vegetation and industries, population, all this we find on the land part. So we find much variation in temperature on the land part, whereas on ocean part we find very less variation. Do you know that the southwest monsoons which India experiences will be affected by the El Nino and La Nino, which causes on Pacific Ocean. What are El Nino and La Nino? Right? El Nino and La Nino. These are the effects which we experience due to the changes in the temperature on Pacific Ocean. On Pacific Ocean, when temperature distribution changes, those changes in temperature on Pacific Ocean will cause to El Nino or La Nino. And this El Nino and La Nino will bring southwest monsoons to India. We experience rains in India by southwest monsoons. The southwest monsoons are effects caused by the El Nino and La Nino which occur on Pacific Ocean. The ocean temperature also affected by the latitudes, winds, ocean currents, and and unequal distribution of land and changes of seasons. These are the factors which influence the temperature of ocean, right? There, the temperature variation on ocean is from minus 2 degrees centigrade to 29 degrees centigrade. Beyond this limit, there won't be variation in temperature distribution on the ocean. There, temperature distribution on ocean is studied in two ways. One is vertical distribution of temperature and horizontal distribution of temperature. Vertical distribution of temperature. If one goes deep inside the ocean, the temperature decreases. If one goes to the greater height in atmosphere, temperature decreases. That is the same. Going to the higher places in atmosphere, temperature decreases. Similarly, going to the depth of the oceans, deep inside the oceans or depth of the oceans, we see temperature decreases. and that decreases in this way. What you call for first 1 kilometer. For first 1 kilometer, we see very steep, very fast falling of temperature. After 1 kilometer depth of sea or ocean water, from there, after 1 kilometer's depth to 5 kilometers depth, we see there will be gradual decline in temperature. Then after whatever the depth you go in the ocean, the temperature does not go below 2 degrees centigrade. This is the what general points we see in the temperature distribution of oceans. But in some places, that is in Red Sea, the temperature recorded is 38 degrees centigrade. The highest temperature recorded in inland seas. Inland seas means the sea which covered by the land. That is Red Sea. There it is a 38 degree centigrade temperature. So the temperature distribution on ocean varies from minus 2 degrees centigrade to 29 degrees centigrade. Then next we see the ocean currents. It is a mass of water moving from one place to another place. Look at this. This is the definition of ocean current. Ocean current is the water general movement of a mass of water in a fair defined direction over a great distance. It's from one area to another area covering a long distance. There would be movement of mass of water that is to be called ocean current, or generally we say that general movement of mass of water in a fair defined direction to a great distance is called ocean currents. Ocean currents are sometimes we called ocean rivers also. We call them ocean rivers. And these ocean currents are classified into two types based on the temperature. One is a cold ocean current, another is a warm ocean current. Okay, two types of ocean currents are there based on temperature. Okay, another classification also we find of ocean currents based on its speed. Okay, if ocean current, that means if movement of water is very fast, then those movement of water on oceans are called streams. If it is moving very slowly, then it is called a drift. Understand? Ocean water current which flows speed, that is to called a stream. It is called stream. If ocean water moves slowly, then it is called drift. This is based on the speed of movement of water, right? So here we see that warm ocean currents and cold ocean currents. Warm ocean currents moves from equator to poles. So when warm ocean currents move from equator to poles, there the temperature which is very less in poles in pole area in poles area will increase from it what you call the colder regions will experience moderate climate. When warm ocean current reaches the place of cold regions, then there the coldness will come down and warmness will increase. So this is an advantage to people who are in colder regions. They never experience a severe cold due to the warm ocean currents flowing towards poles from equator. Similarly, cold ocean currents flow towards equator from poles. When cold ocean currents move from poles to equator, it reduces the temperature of equatorial region. So this is an advantage of ocean currents, right? And ocean currents occur due to some factors which are called factors of the ocean currents. Okay, ocean currents also formed by some factors. Those are centrifugal force, effects of winds, precipitation, solar energy, salinity, density differences of ocean water, melting of ice, all these will cause to ocean currents. So we call them factors affecting or causing ocean currents. Centrifugal force is a factor that is greater at the equator than the poles. You know, when Earth revolves around the sun, right, great circles are generated at equator, and these great circles will cause to the ocean current. At equator, centrifugal force is much than the poles. You know, Earth is in spherical shape, right? Equator is the largest circle which passes to the middle of the Earth. So there, one energy generated when Earth revolves around the sun, and such energy is called centrifugal force. This is high at equator than the poles. So these centrifugal force will push water from equator to poles. So ocean currents are formed. So one of the factor it is. Next, effects of winds. Just now we have discussed it. There, wind modifies the movement of the ocean currents, right? When wind is blowing across the ocean surface, that blowing wind will drag out water from one place to another place, and such water moving from one place to another place is called ocean current. Wind may drag out, may drag water with a speed of 50 miles per hour, and that would generate a wind blowing with a speed of 50 miles. The blowing wind velocity, if it is 50 miles per hour, then it generates ocean current with a with a velocity of 0.75 miles per hour. The wind blowing with 50 miles per hour will generate ocean current with a velocity of 0.75 miles per hour. So this wind also leading to the ocean currents. Next, precipitation. Precipitation is high at equator, right? Because high temperature is recorded at equator due to the high insolation. Where temperature is high, there the rainfall is high. So when rainfall is high at equatorial region, water in ocean increases. The water level increases at equator, and at the poles, water level decreases. So the water level which increased at the equatorial zone will flow towards the poles, right? So the precipitation will increase the amount of water at equator. Increased amount of water will move either to the north or south, and movement of water is called ocean current. So precipitation also leading to the water ocean current. Then solar energy. This is nothing but a heat. Understand? When water absorbs the insolation, then what to call water becomes heat. Heated water expands. That means the water level rises there. Then it flows to other areas instead. Ocean water at equator will rise 8 centimeters high than the what to call the middle latitude, that is 23, 24, some 30, 60 like that. Okay. So which will bring change in the ocean current. So solar energy also brings change in the ocean current. These are some factors. Some more there we'll discuss in the next class. Okay.